Aloha, good morning. I'm Diana Duff, and I'm going to show you today how to sharpen your pruning tools. And there is a little bit of noise in the background, but they're pruning locally, so that's the story. Anyway, I'm gonna go through these steps with you and then and show you each one. So the first thing that we're gonna do, we're gonna work on a saw. And the saw that I have is a nice folding saw, which actually fits in your back pocket. And the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to spray it with some bubbly household cleaner on both sides, because that will help get rid of the gunk that's on there and make it easier to get rid of. And then on saws, these little brushes, you can get them at the hardware store, are really helpful, because you can get all the goop out, and once the soap is on there, it sort of softens everything and makes it easier. And then if you want to, at the end, of course you want to clean it off, and then you clean it off on the top side so that you don't do what I just did, which is catch the bottom on the saw teeth. And then if you want to, if you feel like your mechanism needs it, you can spray in here. And of course there's some choices. Most organic people recommend using kitchen spray rather than a petroleum product. And wipe a little bit off, and now you have a nice clean saw for your next job. One down. I'd like to show you 3 different pruners that I have here. Fiskars are pretty popular. They're sold in a lot of different places. This is a Felco. This is sort of high-end, I guess I should tell you, because it has this nice turning, well, which doesn't turn right now, but when I put some grease on it, it will. So that it's good for people who have a tendency toward carpal tunnel, because this part turns. And Felco has a lot of different different shears to choose from, and they're pretty high end, and you can get replacement parts for those. Now these are the Coronas, or the Corona knockoffs, which are available almost everywhere, and they're very good and last really well. The Fiskars are okay, and they're probably cheaper than the others, but they all, as you can see, need to be cleaned. So we're going to start with the bubbles. Oops. And then the next step, I think I'll bubble everybody at once. How's that? Kill all the grass at one time. And then these. Okay, so that's step 1. We cleaned the blades with bubbly household cleaner, and we wiped them clean. So step 2 is using steel wool. And often if there's stuff that's been on there for a while, the soap will help soften, of course, the gunk, but the steel wool will really get in on it. And I try to shine up all the surfaces. Even though this isn't a cutting surface, I like to keep it shiny and get rid of some of the gunk, because sometimes this gunk, even though it isn't on a cutting edge, can hold up your ability to make a good cut. So as you can see, we're starting to be able to see the beveled edge here, and that's the important part for cutting with this kind of shears. These are called shears, and they have one beveled edge, and that's the part that we're actually going to sharpen. Okay, so we use the steel wool to get off the sappy stuff, and now we're going to use sandpaper. And you don't have to go through all these steps. I just like to do it because I've been doing it this way for a long time. So I use 220 grit sandpaper. And what I use the sandpaper for is to define the bevel. So we want to really know what we're dealing with here. And we want to be sure that it's fairly clean. We don't want to waste our sandstone on cleaning off gunk. So that's a clear bevel. And you want to be sure that you get all the way back in, because sometimes you really need this lower part for a good cut. So you want the whole bevel to be nice and shiny. Okay, and once you've defined the bevel, which we've done here, then you want to come in with your sharpening stone. And you know, you can get big ones or little ones. Most of them have a coarse side and a smooth side. And I always start with the coarse side and then come back in with the smooth. And so we're just going to work on the bevel here. We've already cleaned up everything else. And we're going to hold it at the angle that the bevel is, which is at 45 degrees. So going back and forth here. I mean, some people go in circles. Some people, I don't know, go in all kinds of ways. But what you want is to sharpen, and this method seems to work well for me. So I go with the coarse, and then I take the fine and go over it until my edge is really, really clean and sharp. And it's always a good idea to go on the back, because you're using a stone. It's going to remove some of the metal. And so you want to get rid of any burrs that might happen on the back. When you're cleaning the back, you want to do it with a flat surface, because the back is a flat surface. So that looks pretty good. Let's do them all and then we'll run a test. Coarse side, all the way back. See that little nick back there? We're going to try to get rid of that. And if you have nicks, because sometime you were out in the field and you felt like cutting wire or something that you shouldn't be cutting with your pruners, you might need to work on a little bit longer to get the smoothness that you want on this beveled edge. You don't want to see any nicks on the back. Get rid of any burrs. I'll do it on this one. Anyway, by now I think you might have the idea. You see those burrs there? You definitely want to get rid of those. And if you don't have gloves on, don't do that. But if you go flat, and then I'm going to go a little bit more on this side to see, and I think I'll use my rag to get rid of some of those burrs. Okay, now the next thing is to see how well they cut. So let's go over here to a leaf, and it should cut even a soft leaf pretty well. Yay! Hang on, we'll test them all. Good job. Okay, now let's destroy the evidence. Okay, I'm going to show you how to prune on some loppers, and I just you can just get close in on the well, anyway, this was not intended as a comedy, but I guess it's turning out that way. So we'll do the soapy thing. We'll do the wipe thing. And we'll go in the same way, shining up things with the steel wool. Defining our bevel, further defining it with the sandpaper. See how we're cleaning up a lot of stuff doing this? And then going in with the sharpening tool. Okay, now I want to show you one other thing. but I'm just going to show you the tip, just the end of this. So this is an old lopper of mine that has a bevel cutting edge. Now you can see that it hasn't been cleaned in a while, and I should probably do the usual thing. But the thing about a bevel cutting edge is that there are two, thing about this kind of a cutting edge. Did I call it bevel? That's not the right name. Anyway, what you need to know is that there's two bevels here. And so steel wool, where are you? Again, defining the bevel on this side, and then defining the bevel on this side. And then you have to be very careful with this, because the way this is designed, it can snap closed on you. Nice, huh? Okay. Thank you.